last time we were together, we were really talking about branding and type, which I know sometimes people aren't thrilled with the concept of typing. I never want to take opportunities away from you. That's not what I'm trying to do here. Scout's honor or whatever that is. What I'm trying to do for you guys right now is speed up the process. So this is a reminder of what we went over last time. We said the importance of targeted marketing and why your actor type matters. And so obviously you guys can tell these are all pictures of me, but they're all telling very different stories. And so it wasn't until I really started picking marketing that was me that really kind of showed my energy of how I walked in the room, that was starting to make a difference. So that's what I want for you guys as well. Then what do you do with this information, and how do you make sure that you're applying for jobs that matter? Because if you keep applying to all of the jobs, one, you're wasting your time, and then two, you never know when you are essentially advertising to a casting director like, hey, I don't know who I am, hire me for anything, and that comes across as very green, and I don't want that for you, because obviously y'all are studying, you're working hard, and you deserve to come across as the pros that you are. So here's some of the sites we're going to look at today. These are good places to be looking for jobs. It is not just Actors Access. If you do have an agent, you definitely need an Actors Access and probably Casting Networks, because they are the two biggest ones that have contracts with all of the major production companies that agents then they have a back office for agents to submit. But different things like Backstage, Facebook stuff, direct submit, casting calls, 800, those are for you. Let's really dig into now the specifics of how to apply for jobs. This is from Actors Access, is because sometimes it feels like you're not given very much information about the actual character. All you're going to do is just read okay, UK actor, male, 40 to 55 years old, all ethnicities male. So far, have we heard anything about personality? No. Authentic British accent, still no. Must be comfortable and have experience reading off of a teleprompter. Okay. Educational demo video experience is a plus. Okay. Must sign NDA. Selected for sample script reading and or cast. Again, you go, that's great, Jana. There's literally nothing in there that helps me with their personality. What the heck am I supposed to do with that information? What we can do here is you start to pick up little clues. Anytime you see potential words or phrases, try and think through this. So the fact that they said must be comfortable in front of a teleprompter. Teleprompter is a piece of technology. Not to say that any of the personalities can't use technology, but that's just something to kind of put in your head. Okay, they want us to be comfortable around tech. Cool. Educational and demo video experience is a plus. Okay, so they want me to be used to teaching. Okay, so what codes, what personalities do I know right off the top of my head that are potentially tech oriented or teaching oriented? I'm getting some thought stuff in here, but yeah, there could be some community. Yeah, there could be some structure. Not really getting attention. Nothing here screams fun to me. So, but let's go ahead and let's keep reading all this other stuff that they've provided us with. First of all, please look at the title. Silver Cloud Health Online Module Series. Internet project. Again, all of that is anything in there screaming attention? No. Is there anything in there that maybe is screaming community? Probably not as much. And then structure, I don't know, module series, that's something structure-y, but again, it's really cloud, like the if we're talking silver cloud technologies, health and online and all that, I'm really hearing a lot of thought stuff. For me personally, if I were to be looking at this, I would definitely start with a thought person. I would recommend that, my thought related people and actors apply to this, but also if some people have some community tendencies to them, and then this is something that they are passionate about, then this could be good for them. They're okay, behavioral and mental health. I feel like I do want to educate and support that.
That's super helpful because I would be like, I don't know what to do with that. But now you allowed me to look at, okay, what are they looking for? and what can I deduce from this to bring more to it. So if I'm a male that has a British accent, I would be looking at, okay, I'm definitely community and I'm very structured, so I could do this based on
Mm-hmm.
what it looks like this role
Mm-hmm.
is. And if I'm not that, if I'm like, oh, I love to do like attention kind of roles, this is probably not my kind of thing.
Our next one, 25 to 35, black male, an up and coming rapper, grew up in a community that he knew he had to break out of before it broke him. On his way to fame and fortune, he left family and friends behind. To his fans, he's Alfie X. As he reconnects with childhood friends, he's reminded that he was music nerd who wanted to be a storyteller when he grew up. This is a lead role. He wanted to break out of his community. Definitely a lot of attention here. He is on his way to fame and fortune. That's probably a lot of attention. Um, and he's being, they're saying that like, hey, some of his old friends are reminding him that like, hey man, you used to be a music nerd, you used to be a storyteller and all that. So probably when they say nerd, like I'm not 100% picturing, full on professorial thought type and everything. But yeah, it seems like there's definitely, I'm hearing screaming attention first, maybe some community in there in terms of, yeah, he's checking back in with some of his old friends and all of that, but also that could add to part of his, like, he has family, so he's torn because he's having to pull away from them because he wants this other thing. But again, it's just attention is like hands down first. I mean, because that's everything that they're screaming. Sometimes it's good to look at the name of the piece and potentially even the media, like if they're doing theater or film or if it's a commercial or whatever. um but yeah, no. Okay, let's look at Amani, who's also 25 to 30 years old, black female, a political activist running for councilwoman in the district where she grew up, dedicated to her community and making a difference, even when it feels like peace is impossible. Independent, insightful, keeps the big picture in mind, grew up with Alfie and Bird, and through their lives went in different directions. She attempts to bring them back together. I'm definitely hearing the community. I mean, they did use the word community in there, so that's always helpful when you get that. She wants to make a difference, feels peace is possible. Probably, yeah. So the main thing that I'm hearing is that it's there, we don't have attention in this one. So sometimes it's just as important to hear what you do, what is there versus what's not there. So we're not hearing a lot of the attention buzz like fame and fortune, excitement, risk taker. That's not showing up. So much community is showing up. And then, yeah, she is trying to, she's trying to do a councilwoman. So normally that would be something potentially structure government wise or maybe thought, but I'll let you guys. So the biggest things I would say for that when I'm reading that role is I would go community first. And then if attention is my first thing that I'm screaming and is all over my marketing, then I'm probably not going to be applying for that. Yeah, let's do just this last one on Bird, childhood friend, rising rapper. So he's not a rising, of rapper Alfie, an activist, Amani. Oh, Amani's an activist. Okay. This is also important. You guys read through everybody's stuff. Sometimes you pick up things from other breakdowns that are important to the role you want to be applying to. Very important. Okay. He's recovering from an accident that's left him able to walk without crutches. Drugs used to be his vice, but he got clean and traded that vice for a love of sweets. Grew up in a community where he had to dodge death on a regular basis. Bitter about the loss of friendship with Alfie. Okay. Who's going to be bitter about losing friendships? It's community. Yes. They want their friendships. They want their community. So yeah, so definitely I am getting that he's probably like a sweet guy. Hence they even have him with sweets. And so he's just really going through a lot. So I feel like a nice guy here, but also potentially some maybe attention stuff because I'm not getting anything that says like he's really smart or he's really about following the rules because obviously clearly he broke all the rules. So there's probably some community and attention in here on that one. All right, so this is potentially what backstage looks like. So Dead Girls Don't Cry. Again, you're welcome to start with reading the character and then going to look and see if there's other info for them. Kayla is an introvert. She's sweet and understanding, observant, enjoys sarcasm, loves making jokes, adores riding in her car, especially at night with music blasting from the speakers. So there's a lot here. This is the thing about backstage that, so clearly we've jumped from actors access to backstage. Actors access, even though indie people can post on there as well, you tend to get a few more um, you tend to get a few more professional projects and stuff there. Backstage, they really do give anybody a wide voice. So that's why you get these breakdowns that tend to have a ton of additional information in them, sometimes helpful, sometimes not as much. All right, so this is a sweet and understanding person, so that's probably some community. Observant, that sounds a little bit thoughtish. Enjoys sarcasm, I feel like it takes a smart person to have some sarcasm to them. So maybe there's some thought in there. And, joke, loves making jokes. Maybe that's some attention, sarcasm, and attention. Adores riding in her car, especially at night with music blasting. That's probably some attention stuff. Um, okay, so her grandfather passed. That's left her sad. Maybe that's some community stuff. She's missing part of her community. But her big problem is can't let go of people. Probably community. Can't accept the fact and things are temporary. Yeah. Separation anxiety, that's also a lot of community. I mean, I'm just hearing community, 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 and a lot more community. But maybe a little bit of some attention, like she likes to have some fun and all of that. So this one, here's a commercial where they don't write anything for they don't write you anything. They just say, hey, all ethnicities, and so that's why it's important to read the title and all of that. So slim thick Instagram influencer for skin and body filming cream brand. So skin and body, that's probably not more of a thought and structure type thing. So if you're submitting to them wearing a suit, it's probably not what they're looking for. But they said energetic influencer with big butt and small waist and comfortable with showing stomach, butt, or thighs. So probably some attention situation in there. Yeah. Poet in the dark. And this is what I'm saying is backstage, there's a lot of newer filmmakers. So they just write so much information because they don't know how to just get to the point with their casting notices a lot. So but first of all, we already know they say it's a chess player. So they don't even tell us the name of this person. They're just a chess player. So to me, chess, that's an intellectual thing, that's logic based, that's definitely thought related. So character, I'm ideally looking for an old schooler New Yorker, open to other profiles, maybe even hipster and non-binary, looking for strong, interesting stage presences and skillful character acting. Again, they're not talking about the character, they're talking about the actor. I'm still going with thought. I mean, they want a chess player, or the way that they're also describing non-binary, hipster type. Yeah, attention. They're also looking for somebody that's a little bit likes to stand out. This is casting networks, casting an energetic TikTok influencer type, comfortable talking about ADHD. First of all, energetic. And what's an influencer? They tend to be more of our emotional codes, which would be community and attention, versus more, rather than a lot of our thought and structure, which tend to be more intellectual. So definitely a lot of attention there. Maybe if it is somebody talking about ADHD, well, we all attention deficit hyperactive disorder. So clearly they're looking for somebody with a lot of attention and or a lot of energy and stuff right there. So there's a lot of attention here. Probably not heavy structure on this one. Facebook, that's a whole other class to tell you guys in terms of what's legit and what's not, but just be more on your guard when you're applying to stuff on social media sites, because they haven't been vetted in the same way that these other casting sites have. But that's okay. But definitely be aware of when they include pictures, a lot of time those pictures speak to relevancy of what they're looking for. So the fact, even if I weren't to read anything, I'd be looking at those pictures and I go, am I that picture? Can I fit that vibe? Do I have marketing photos of my own that speak to that? So because they don't even say, okay, so they have Caucasian male rappers, and that's really it. Must be okay with the death scene, nothing else. um this one was just so much detail, but that's okay. Like it's the exact same thing that we went through with all the other stuff that I did with Actors Access, is go ahead and read through everybody's stuff, because there might be things in there that apply to you. And then also try and look for things that seem relevant. You want the fact that this is written out in a clean structure like this makes me feel better. Like they've tried to set it up like it would look on a casting site of, here's all the production information, and then here's information on the actual roles, and then here's how to contact us. So I would, just so you know, if you're skimming quickly through Facebook trying to pick stuff to look through, things that look more industry professional, that's worth spending your time to try and then go in and figure out the personality traits. All these personalities show up differently, in photos. And so I want to go over some examples for you guys, so that next time you come across a community, you're like, hey, I have these 3 different photos I can pick through of me. And even though I'm always telling you guys to stick the mass majority of your marketing towards what your natural personality is. So I'm not telling you to go get marketing for all 4 personalities. That's not, everybody, do not go get marketing for all 4 personalities. You're focusing on your main thing that is your dominant personality, and then your secondary. But it's just like, if you're ever stuck trying to decide between which one to throw in there, here's some thoughts. And then also, if you're going out and getting new photos, this is how you know that you are advertising the right thing. So what I've done for you guys is I've kind of explained a little bit of what we're looking at in these photos, things that I started to pick up on when I was casting. I started to realize I was looking for these things, and then I actually started to hear some of my other casting people. I was like, oh, you actually said it. That was a subconscious thing that I didn't realize I was looking for. And now, I'm just writing it out for you guys to get a better idea of what we're picking up on. For a community person, remember, they're light and bright and happy and all of that. So they're soft fabrics and soft colors, and even some potentially florals. Try not to go too crazy with designs. Like that is something just across the board for all. You don't want a lot of patterns anywhere. She is that nice, bright, that bluey color. And it's a soft fabric. It just looks really nice. So she's aiming to draw on the audience with great smile. Most of the time, a community person is going to be smiling. And they're radiating that warmth and welcoming energy, and they're coming across as authentic and peaceful and helpful and caring. It really does help to have some nature and some brighter colors and different things to create. Again, I keep going back, all of those things, even though I have one section that's vibe and energy, like pretty much every section, I make sure that I throw in there a little bit more information around sense of, energy of, vibe of, peace and positivity and all of that. So that's really the whole name of the game, is how do we create that vibe and energy, so that when somebody looks at that, that's initially what they're picking up on. You start with the photo, and your photo then gets you the audition. So the audition then says, great, this is what we want to see from you. And you're starting to build out that world. That's what we're doing here. So I'm giving you guys some insights into a little bit more of the, a community person's, their behavior, some things that you'll see. So their character interactions. All right, let's go to attention. These guys are dressed to stand out. They want to wear something that attracts positive attention. But look at all these words. They could be cool, they could be expensive, they can be unique, they can be badass, they can be trendy. It doesn't necessarily mean that okay, there's a difference. This does not look like he's wearing $1 million, right? But he can be an attention, just like Elle Woods can be an attention, even though she's dressing and wearing very expensive stuff. But he's still dressed to stand out. I mean, it's part of why he has his tattoos. He draws attention. He wore a necklace to draw attention. He's wearing a tight shirt to draw attention. So all of that kind of stuff. Vibe and energy is of strength or bravery or confidence, energy, fun, sexiness, spontaneity. We're all about drawing in and paying attention to this character because of their power. So It can be power because they have money, power because they're a badass and come beat you up. Thank you. Power because they just look like they're cool and they know something that you're like, I want to be friends with that person. They're awesome. But yeah, you do want professional lit, unique, attention grabbing backgrounds that signal intrigue and success. Okay, so their interactions, cool and confident, or potentially some loud and animated, playful, funny. They like to call attention to themselves. This character is neatly put together and often seen in an office or career professional outside workwear that is dressed and cleanly pressed. These clothes should be budget friendly. So this is not flashy or expensive. Looking at somebody that is playing with inside the lines, with inside the box. They're trying to be, your regular career professional and everything. And those backgrounds, sometimes you can have office settings, but simple backgrounds, studio backdrops like the gray or whatever, they create structure, they create order of what we're used to seeing. Their interactions, more formal and articulate, so controlled and calm body language. So not like I was when I was talking about attention. I was over here and I was leaning in. This is probably something that's a little bit more, held in and controlled. So conservative, respectful gestures and tones, and appropriate and professional tone. They're very tame. Maybe they're clean and tidying. Maybe they're keeping track of time, and maybe they're rearranging items and stuff on their desk while they're talking to you. You don't know. Make choices and actions that maintain order in the room. So probably not the first person to pick a giant fight and everything, because they want to maintain order. Thought we have clothing. These characters are not focused on fashion trends and or their looks. Their clothing could possibly be quirky or dated, unassuming. Geeky or tech accessories can be included in non-headshot photos. So your headshot photos, you guys, we do need to create a certain amount of neutrality to them. But if it's a branding photo where you're just like, yeah, I'm going to show some extra stuff, then yeah, go ahead and show me your earbuds or your I don't know, other tech accessories that I don't know about. Put your Apple Watch on while you're talking to us. Vibe and energy, rather unassuming, potentially awkward. They draw in the viewer because they appear there's something smart about them. And I'm not saying glasses always mean smart, but man, you guys, there's something about throwing on a pair of glasses that instantly makes people start to think that. It's kind of funny. Colors, probably more earth tones and muted browns and greens. Very simple and unassuming, maybe purposely odd. But bottom line is they're not very fashionable. Like they're wearing some stuff where you're like, that's dated or that looks weird together or whatever. And so that's maybe a little bit of what's going on here. Because again, that's not their focus. Their focus is on the facts and the details and all that. Backgrounds can be, if you want to do libraries and laboratories and classrooms and comic books, and like, that's great stuff for your branding photos. Your headshots, if you want to keep it simpler, just kind of like doing a studio gray or something, then that works out well too. So to go back to their awkward and potentially a little bit unemotional, maybe even avoiding touch in their interactions. These are your people that are going to be ready to debate you. So maybe keep that in mind when you're reading through your self tapes. Keep in mind of like, does this sound like this person's challenging me? Am I getting ready to start a debate? Not a fight, a debate, two different things. So they probably are going to be more intellectual and informative in what they're saying to you, and they remain less emotional, and probably not as connected to the other character emotionally in that way. You might be playing on your phone or computer or smartwatch. They're probably going to be focusing on the facts and the logic in the conversation. So if you're playing a thought character, when you go through your script, really be thinking like, let me go through and underline everything that comes across as fact or logic, or that person was really emotional. I'm probably not going to like this. Let me keep that in mind. So focus on, they might be reading a book. They might be trying to educate the other person, but bottom line is you're going to be picking choices and actions that facilitate you being the smartest and most correct person in the room.
Now that I see this all laid out like this, it helps you know who you are, know what qualities come out, and make a choice when you're doing the self-tape, make a choice for how you're going to market yourself. It's just, it is really brilliant. I am so grateful for the training that you gave us today. I really see it. I see the value of it. So thank you very much.